Good morning. It's Friday. Yay. Just some ideas that you can be thinking of today. There is an anthology story called How Ben Franklin Stole the Lightning, and it's found on pages 406 to 421. It does go along with the word work packet, Unit 5, Week 4 that I sent home a week ago. You can go ahead and test on that. That is an AR test. Remember that when you go into the AR test, that it's the blue cover. It doesn't have a picture on the cover, and it says wonders in the description. So go ahead and, if you're up for it, go ahead and read that story and take the AR test, and maybe even finish up your word work packet if you got that far over the week. All right. Prodigy's good. Card Games.io. Play some Yahtzee. You can be doing Dirty 30. I sent home 3 Dirty 30 tests. You can take one of those or just practice Dirty 30 if you want to. And don't forget to keep on reading. All right, so the last chapter, chapter 20, in Where the Red Fern Grows. What's going on in our story class? We know the saddest part, that both of the dogs have now been buried side by side. And Billy's kind of angry about the whole thing. You know, why did that have to happen? I remember he asked Ma if all good dogs go to heaven, and she said she knew it. She was sure that they did. So, all right. I don't know, guys. We got this. I can do this. I have my Kleenex box. I have my glasses. I have my book. One thing before we finish this up, we need to be thinking about the next story that we're going to read. I did grab The City of Ember before I had to leave on Wednesday, not knowing what was coming. So I do have that book here at home. But the other one I was thinking about was The One and Only Ivan. And I can get that through Amazon on my iPad account. That's no trouble. So I can do that. Maybe you guys could take a vote and let me know what you think. If you want to go The City of Ember, remember that's that futuristic one. Or The One and Only Ivan. It's a story told through the gorilla's eyes living at the zoo. Anyway, maybe you guys want to shoot a story message out to me, or just a message letting me know. You can go to your portfolio app too, the portfolio link. You can send me your vote on which one to read. All right, let's finish up with Red Fern Grows. Boys and girls, obviously, I feel that this author has done an amazing job. He's made me laugh. He's made me be hopeful. He's made me sob. And I think that running the gamut of emotions is something that the author is always looking for. It just makes his book a classic, Where the Red Fern Grows. Okay, guys, I got this. We can do it. All right, here's my glasses. Whoops. Oh, I just dropped the anthology book. All right, here we go. Chapter 20. The following spring, we left the Ozark Mountains. The day we moved, I thought everyone would be sad, but it was just the opposite. Mama seemed to be the happiest one of all, and I could hear her laughing and joke with my sisters as they packed up their things. She had a glow in her eyes I had never seen before, and it made me feel good. I even noticed a change in Papa. He didn't have that whipped look on his face no more. He was in high spirits as we carried the furniture out to our wagon. After the last item was stored in the wagon, Papa helped Mama to the spring seat, and we was ready to go. Papa, would you mind waiting a few minutes, I asked. I'd like to say goodbye to my dogs. Uh-oh. Sure, he said, smiling. We have plenty of time. Go right on ahead, Billy. Near the graves, I saw something was different. It looked like a wild bush had grown up and practically covered the 2 little mounds. It made me kind of angry to think that no bush would dare grow too close to the graves. I took out my knife and intended to cut it down. When I walked up close enough to see what it was, I sucked in my mouth full of air and I stopped what I was doing. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There, between the graves, was a beautiful red fern. It had sprung up from the rich mountain soil. It was fully 2 feet tall, and its long red leaves had reached out, and rainbow arches curved over the graves of my little dogs. I'd heard the old legend about the red fern, how a little Indian boy and girl were lost in a blizzard and had frozen to death. In the spring, when they was found, a beautiful red fern had grown up between their 2 bodies. The story went on to say that only an angel could plant the seeds of the red fern, and that they never died. When one grew, the spot was sacred. Remembering the meaning of that legend, I turned and started hollering for my mama. Mama, Mama, I shouted, come quick, hurry, you ain't gonna believe this. In a frightened voice, she shouted back, what is it, Billy? Were you all right? Where are you? I'm all right, Mom, I shouted, but hurry, you just won't believe it. Holding her long skirt in her hand, with a frightened look on her face, Mama came puffing up the hillside. Close behind her came Papa and my sisters. "What is it, Billy?" Mama asked in a scared voice. "Are you all right?" "Look," I said, pointing at the red fern. Staring wide-eyed, Mama gasped and covered her mouth with her hand. I heard her say almost in a whisper, Oh my gosh, it's a red fern. It's a sacred red fern." She walked over and very tenderly started fingering the long red leaves. In an odd voice, she said, "All my life, I've wanted to see one, and now I have. It's almost unbelievable." "Don't touch it, Mama," my oldest sister said. "It was planted by an angel." Mama smiled and asked, "Have you heard the legend?" "Yeah, Mama," my sister said. "Grandma told me the story, and I believe it too." With a serious look on his face, Papa said, "These hills are full of legends, and up until now I ain't never paid much attention to 'em. But now, I just don't know," he said. "Perhaps there is something to that legend of the red fern. Maybe it's nature's way of helping Billy understand why his dogs had to die." "I'm sure it is," Pa said, "and I do understand. I feel different now, and I don't hurt no more." "Come on," Mama said. "Let's go back to the wagon. Billy wants to be alone with his dogs for a while." I can do this. Just as I turned to leave, I heard Papa murmur in a low voice, wonderful work indeed," he said. As I stood looking at the two graves, I noticed things I hadn't seen before. Wild violets and rooster heads and mountain daisies had completely covered the two little mounds. A summer breeze gushed down from the rugged hills, and I felt its warm caress as it fanned my face. It hummed a tune of the underbrush and rustled the leaves on the oak red tree. The red fern wavered and danced to the music of the hills. Taking off my cap, I bowed my head, and in a choking voice I said, "Goodbye, old Dan. Goodbye, little Ann. I ain't never gonna forget you. And this I know. All good dogs go to heaven. And I know God made a special place just for you." With a heavy heart, I turned and walked away. I knew that as long as I lived, I'd never forget the two little graves and the sacred red fern. Not far from our home, the road wound its way up and over a hill, and at the top, Papa stopped the team, and we all stood up and looked back. It was a beautiful sight, one I would never forget as long as I lived. As I stood and looked at the home of my birth, it looked sad and lonely. There was no spiral of lazy blue smoke twisting from the rock chimney, and no white leghorn hen chasing a June bug, and no horse or cow standing with head down and tails a-swishing. I saw had left the door to the barn left open. A tuft of hay hung out, and it wavered gently in the warm summer breeze. Something scurried across the vacant yard and disappeared under the barn. It was Sammy, the old house cat. I heard my little sister saying in a choked voice, Mama, we forgot Sammy." There was no answer. To the left, I could see our fields and the zigzagging lines of rail fences, and farther down, I could see the shimmering whiteness of the tall sycamore trees. My vision blurred as tears came to my eyes. The sorrowful silence was broken by my Mama's voice, and she asked, Billy, can you see it?" I said, "See what, Mama?" The red fern, she said. "It's there." My older sister spoke up. "I can see it," she said. "I can see it." Rubbing my eyes, I looked to the hillside above our home, and there it stood in all its wild beauty, a waving red banner and a carpet of green. It seemed to be saying goodbye, and don't worry, for I'll be here always. Hearing the sniffling, I turned around, and my three little sisters had started crying again. Mom said something to Papa, and I heard the jingle of the trace chains as they tightened in the single trees. Our wagon moved on. I've never been back to the Ozarks. All I have left are my dreams and memories. And someday I'd like to go back to those beautiful hills I'd like to walk again on the trails I walked in my boyhood days. Once again, I'd like to face the mountain breeze and smell the wonderful scents of the red buds, the pawpaws, and the dogwoods. With my hands, I'd like to caress the cool bark of a sycamore. I'd like to take a walk far back in the flinty hills and search for a souvenir, maybe an old double-bladed axe stuck deep in the side of a white oak tree. I know the handle is long since rotted away with time, and perhaps the rusty frame of the coal oil lantern still hung there on the blade. I'd like to see the old home place and the barn and the rail fences. I'd like to pause under the beautiful red oaks where my sisters and I played in our childhood. I'd like to walk up the hillside to the graves of my dogs. I'm sure the red fern has grown and has completely covered the two little mounds now. I know it's still there, though, hiding its secret beneath those long red leaves. But it wouldn't be hidden from me, for part of my life is buried there, too. Yes, I know it's still there. For in my heart, I believe the legend of the sacred red fern. The end. Wow, that's always a hard one for me to get through. Okay. Boys and girls, what I want you to do now is to go back and think about all the way back to the beginning, the KC baking powder can and how we got his dogs and the fisherman across the road and all the berries he picked to earn those $50 to get those pups. The adventures he had and the coons and the ghost coon and all the wonderful things that we learned. The silver cup, and little Ann and her prancing around and the butter and Grandpa's comb and brush. Think about all the coons that they treed. Don't forget about Reuben Pritchard. Don't forget about the mountain lion when they were pups and at the end of the story. So think about all those things, and then I want you to go on and take your AR test. And then I want you to let me know how you did, okay? All right, good luck, and happy Friday. And let me know again if you guys want to do the one and only Ivan, or if you want to go on and do that science fiction one, The City of Ember. Let me know what you guys think. All right, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye.